Hej med dig. Velkommen tilbage, venner. Jeg taler kun på dansk i dag, så lad os gå. Jeg arbejder udenfor i dag, men det er for koldt. Jeg fryser. Det er ikke sommer på Georgia. Jeg fryser. That was one of the first things I learned how to say in Danish. Jeg fryser. Because I'm always cold. I'm always freezing. Jeg spiser vegetabilisk curry. Det kan I ikke sige. Uh-oh. Marmalade!
Mommy, do you want some avocados? Did Becca eat her?
Marmy elsker avocado.
That's it. Thanks, guys.
So, I thought I would share with you guys some things that I'm using to learn to speak Danish here in America. And I'm doing it in a very casual kind of way. So, I hope you guys enjoy this. Let's get to it. Just as a little intro, if you're wondering why I'm learning Danish, there's several reasons. First of all, I love learning languages. I've been learning languages my whole life and they come pretty easily to me, so I think right now I've learned French, Spanish, a little bit of Latin in high school, German, Italian, and Danish. Touched a bit on Polish and Arabic at one point, but not really much of anything. But those other ones I did pretty well in and got to a pretty decent level of fluency. And it's just something that I really enjoy doing, and I love immersing myself in other languages and cultures. So that's the main reason. Well, that's not the main reason I'm learning Danish in particular, but that's why I am learning yet another language. So I've got to change my camera battery. I'll be right back. Marmy's just right in my face over here. What are you doing, Marmy? What are you doing? She's trying to get on my lap. Whoops. Say hello to everyone. Becca seems to have a tummy ache. You okay, Miss B? Oh, she just wants belly rubs. Okay, so one of the other reasons why I'm learning Danish is because I am, in fact, of Danish heritage. I love my Danish heritage. I love everything about it. My grandfather came here when he was in his mid-20s, I think, early to mid-20s. He came to the US, to New Jersey actually, and got married and settled down here in the US. And we still have family actually on the little island from where he's from in Denmark. We went to visit there last year when we were in Denmark and met my cousins and stuff like that. So it was really a fun time. In fact, I'll put a video link up here if you want to watch that video of when we went to visit the small island of Samsø in Denmark. It was really amazing to see where my grandfather grew up, and my great-grandfather was the mayor of the town for many years, so it was really cool to see. And to know that family still lives right there in the same house. It was kind of cool. I wish I could live there. Anyway, so I love all my Danish heritage, and that's why I'm learning Danish in particular, because my grandfather unfortunately passed away before I was born, so I never met him and didn't get to learn Danish from him, so I've had to do it all on my own, but I'm working on it. I've been studying Danish for probably 10 years now, at least, and very off and on, very not seriously, because back then it was just so hard to get anything in Danish to learn from, any resources or anything like that, so it's much easier now. Still not as easy as some of the other languages that are so readily available, but definitely much easier now than it was 10 years ago. So So yeah, so that's why I'm studying Danish and trying to learn Danish. I would also really like to spend a lot of time in Denmark once all my kids are out of school. I'd love to live there, but if I'm not able to live there, I would love to at least spend a good portion, like a lot of time every year there. So then Danish will come in handy for that as well. And it's such a beautiful language. I love it. I think it's my favorite of all the languages I've ever learned. So, okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you guys as far as what I'm using to learn Danish right now are my books and my notebooks that I have going. Alright, so there's 2 textbooks that I'm using right now. I just found these on Amazon like a month or so ago and was very excited because they're more intermediate level, and the books that I have now are very basic beginner level. So I got these 2 books that I'm going to start using. I haven't used them yet. I've only looked through them, but this one is Complete Danish. If you can see that. And I think that it has something, yeah, there's audio included if you go to like a website. And then the next one that I have is this Danish Tutor Grammar and Vocabulary Workbook, which I'm very excited about, actually. This one I'm real excited about, and I was looking in this one, and it's pretty tough. You gotta write stuff. You actually have to write, answer questions, and write stuff, and read things. So, yeah, this one is going to really be helpful and really boost my level, I believe. And then the third book I'm using for now, I just got this, is a storybook, short stories in Danish. It's really cool. You read through them and then there's questions at the end and vocabulary, and I read the first one and I did pretty well with it. I'm pretty impressed. So, and it has a lot of tips at the beginning for reading effectively in another language. So I'm looking forward to doing more and more reading in Danish. I feel like reading is really going to help build my vocabulary, so I'm really looking for a lot of things to be able to read going on for the rest of this year. I also have some magazines that I got when I was in Denmark last year, so those are just good for, you know, quick reading, building vocabulary and stuff. I'll show you. So I've got some women's magazines. I have this one, and I have this one here. Ooh, this one. And I also have a teen magazine that I brought home from my teenage daughters, which is kind of fun to go through and read. It's got little quizzes in it and stuff like that, you know, all that fun teenager stuff. So that's fun. And then I also have this, which is actually just kind of like, this is from Samso, which is the island where my family's from, and it's like, you know, a visitor's guide to the island. And I was looking through it today, actually, and I found this one article I was so excited about. Wait a minute, there it is. This labyrinth is like the largest labyrinth in the world, apparently. It's in the Guinness Book of World Records, and it's right where my family lives. So, you know, we walked there and saw it. It was closed in February, but we walked there and saw it. It was a very short walk, so that's pretty cool that's in here. So I'm excited to read all that and read about it. So yeah. So those are my reading materials. I think we also have some Donald Duck comic books that I got for Lily. That, I don't know, maybe I'll try reading them. We'll see. Okay, so for my notebooks, I have this bullet journal, hardbacked, that I'm using to keep track of my habits. I have my goals listed in here. I'm going to be keeping vocabulary in here. And here's my habit tracker. I haven't used it. I haven't started using it yet. I have 50 things that make me happy. I only had a pencil when I was making this, so I didn't start putting words in there. That's kind of a fun way to learn vocabulary. and just a list of words as I learn them. I'm just writing them in here. I have my goals for the 3 languages that I'm currently learning, mostly focusing on Danish. So I've got Danish, German, and Finnish in here because I am going to start learning a bit of Finnish as well. So those are my goals, and I'm going to be doing daily journal entries in there and just keep track of everything that I'm learning in here. And then this is just an extra notebook that I have started doing vocabulary sentences in because I like learning phrases as opposed to just individual words. So I feel like it's just easier to learn when I learn like a whole phrase as opposed to just learning random words here and there. So I like to learn a lot of phrases that are useful in everyday life so that I can use them a lot and then just really get them ingrained into me. Like, you know, I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I know I learned how to say, do you want to go out? And I say that to the dogs all the time. You know, things like that. So, what are you doing? What's for dinner? That, you know, just like phrases that we use all day long that I can even just think them in or say them to my dogs. You know, are you ready to eat? Do you want to eat? I was saying that to them last year. I'm trying to teach them Danish too. So, because they know the word eat. So now I'm trying to teach them it in Danish and say it in Danish. So, it's kind of funny. Anyway, so, or even just when I'm thinking during the day, thinking in my mind, thinking in sentences and pulling them in Danish instead of in English. So, this is where I keep that. But I may actually move that over to the pink book and just use the pink book for everything. So, we'll see. Not sure yet, but those are the books I have and the notebooks that I'm using. Another thing I'm using that I really was excited to find, I used to watch Danish TV on my computer years ago. It was like, whatever, dr2.de, which was like the Danish TV station. I mean, it's still a website, but back then it allowed me to actually watch shows. Now it doesn't let me watch shows because I'm not in Denmark or Greenland. So there are other ways you can watch shows. And I just recently found on Netflix, there are several Danish TV series on Netflix. So I'm watching one of those on there. And what's nice is that it's all in Danish, and you can have the subtitles either in English if you're really just beginning, or you can have them in Danish so that you are reading the language as well as hearing it. And that's what I like to do because I found when I first started watching the show, I was having the subtitles in English, and then I was just reading the subtitles and not really hearing the show, which was not helpful because I have a tendency, if there's subtitles, even if I can hear what they're saying, I just always read the subtitles. I don't know what it is in my mind, like if there's subtitles, I have to see them. So I have to read them. So I decided, well, I checked and I can switch them over to Danish. So now the subtitles are there and I can read the subtitles in Danish and like totally understand what's going on in the show because I can read Danish much better than I can understand it when it's spoken and say it. I can understand a lot when it's spoken, but when they're talking in a show, they're talking, you know, normal speed and it's really fast, and everything in Danish is just all smushed and slurred together, so you miss a lot if you're not fluent enough. So yeah, I found that I can really understand the show, so that's fun. And it's a good show. Rita, it's called. So check it out on Netflix. If you're not learning Danish, you can always just use the English subtitles and enjoy the show. So another way that I really am finding enjoyable in learning phrases and just listening to people talk in Danish is on YouTube. So there's a lot of things, if you search Danish language or whatever language you're learning, you can find different YouTubers who teach those languages. One that I really like is called Easy Danish, and they have ones that are just different languages. So there's Easy German, Easy Danish, and they're very simple, quick, short videos, and they have the subtitles in English and in Danish, and you can really just kind of get a gist of like listening to the language and trying to understand it. But two others that I found recently, I keep forgetting the name and having to go look. Two others that I found recently, one is called A Taste of Danish, and this is this guy Liam, and he does like very relevant sentences and phrases and things like that, and I like the way that he does his videos. He's really good. And the other one is, I'll put a link in the description below if you want to check them out. The other one is Danish Mastery, and this guy Thomas, he's a Danish teacher, so he does a lot of videos too, and it's just good to just listen to him speaking in Danish, and just, you know, he does a lot of pronunciation videos, lots of little, what do you call them, conversations and stuff like that. But he also has like live streams where he just talks in Danish, and sometimes he translates to English and sometimes he doesn't. It's really good to just listen to it and hear it and really get it into my head, you know. Get used to listening to it and hearing it. I haven't found any podcasts yet, so if anyone knows of any podcasts that are in Danish, that would be good. But there's also a website that I belong to that is really good, and that is called danishclass101.com, and that's really, really in-depth and has a lot of stuff. They also have videos on YouTube, so. And oh, and I also, on YouTube, I like to look up Disney songs in their Danish version, because that's really fun to listen to, like Tangled songs and watch the little videos from the Tangled songs and Frozen songs and stuff like that, songs that I already know in English, and to hear them in Danish, it's kind of funny because they change the words quite a bit in some of them, so total different meanings sometimes. So those are really fun too. And then the last thing I want to mention are language apps. So I have 3, I think, language apps on my phone. I used to have Babbel, and I just deleted it from my phone because it stopped working. I don't know what was wrong with it, but I do want to re-download it because they do have Danish on Babbel. It's hard to find things that have Danish on them. Like even Rosetta Stone doesn't have Danish, which is crazy to me. It did a long time ago, and I used to have a copy of it, but in all the moves and everything I lost it. So the other ones I have are Duolingo, which I like a lot, and Memrise, and Drops. And Drops is just, the free version of Drops is just like 5 minutes a day, and it's just good to do if I'm just like sitting around and I have a few minutes and I can just play with that a little bit. It's just fun, really. Duolingo has the craziest sentences in the world. I don't know, like things that I would never imagine having to say, like all ninjas enjoy drinking beer after work. I don't know. I don't know where that comes from. I didn't know there were so many ninjas in Denmark. Anyway, it seems more like it would be Vikings. So anyway, those are the 3 apps I have right now. That's all my stuff that I'm using. And I also have to say, I have to give a shout out to my friends in Denmark, Tim and Lena, because hopefully they have helped me in the past with my Danish, and hopefully they'll continue to help me while I try to get more fluent this year, because I think that they will be key in helping me, having actual people to talk to and tell me how bad my pronunciation is, because I know it's pretty bad. So anyway, I hope this was enjoyable to you. I'm looking forward to talking more about all of this language learning stuff and how it's going, and doing more stuff where I talk more in Danish. So yeah, I hope you guys have a great day. Remember, hit the like button if you like this video. Go ahead and subscribe right now. And I will see you next time. Oh, check out these other videos too, over here or over here. I don't remember where they are, but somewhere. Go check those out, and I will see you next time. Have a great day, guys. Hi.